Now at 9, President Biden has officially tapped out of the 2024 presidential race. Plus, people at George Washington Carver National Monument learn about everything peanuts. And
a local hardware store works with the community to help teach kids and their families the proper way to respect an American flag. I'm Samantha Walker, and I'll have that story coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
And every single day, I'm surrounded by good docs. If they think there's a problem, I promise you, or even if they don't think it's a problem, they think I should have a neurological exam again, I'll do it.
President Biden announces he will not run for re-election. This is KOAM News at 9. I'm Anthony Saviello. Facing a reckoning over his age and ability to do the job in what appeared to be a long odds to beat Trump in November, with just over 3 months to go to Election Day, it's a dramatic development in the course of the race. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor reports.
President Biden is officially out of the 2024 race for the White House. It follows weeks of growing pressure from Democrats after his shaky debate performance highlighted concerns over his age and mental fitness. The president shared the news on X, saying in part, "It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president, and while it has been my intent to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term." He said he would speak to the nation later this week. In the end, he decided on what Democrats are hoping will be a graceful exit. And with just about a month before the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, he's not taking any chances on a messy party fight, endorsing his Vice President Kamala Harris to take his place as the Democratic nominee, saying she's the candidate with the best chance to beat Donald Trump in the fall. It also allows her access to Biden's $250 million war chest without going through any lengthy legal proceedings that could have held up her campaign. Democrat leaders could move as early as next week to officially make Harris the nominee through a virtual roll call before their convention, though it's not clear if there are other contenders who might object. Biden is the first incumbent president in more than 50 years not to run for re-election, bringing an end to a half-century of public service and opening the door to a new generation of leadership. In Washington, D.C., Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Local lawmakers in our area have reacted to the news of President Biden dropping out of the 2024 presidential race. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley reacted to the news on X, saying, quote, "If you can't run a mere political campaign, you can't be president." Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt saying on X, quote, "Americans are ready for new leadership, not more of the same from Democrats, regardless of who they now scramble to nominate. Further, if Joe Biden isn't fit enough to serve as a candidate after the primary, he isn't fit to serve as president now." Missouri Representative Eric Burleson adding on to his fellow Republicans, saying, quote, "He will never forget that Biden's presidency has been a disaster for our country, and whoever they choose to replace him will not be any better." And Kansas Senator Roger Marshall echoing a similar message, saying, quote, "If Joe Biden is unable to serve another term, then he must resign right now. If he's unfit to campaign, he should not have the nuclear codes. It's that simple," end quote. We'll check in with a first look at weather with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney.
Well, temperatures are in the lower 70s. We've got pretty cloudy skies, but still nice sunset out there. Winds are calm. Outside of that, we're having a pretty nice cool evening. Temperatures dropping down to the lower 60s again tonight. We have temperatures 72 out in Neosho and Miami, 75 in Chanute, Independence, Parsons as well. So we're in the mid to lower 70s, pretty uniform across the area. And like I said, we're getting down to the lower 60s for our overnight low. We've also had some rain showers early this morning. It kept us pretty cool. Now, most of us didn't see a ton of rainfall, maybe a quarter of an inch or a little bit less. We got Joplin, Monette, Miami, Grove, Bentonville, all got up to 1.5 to 2 inches. We do have a few more rain chances in the forecast, and we'll talk about it in just a bit.
All right, Lindsay. Thanks. Coming up, a lady in Parsons helps educate her community on importance of respecting our nation's flag. The George Washington Carver National Monument today hosted classes about peanut milk. Participants not only made peanut milk, but were also told about the versatility of the peanut. Carver was a big proponent of not only the peanut, but crop rotation as well.
So I get to connect with people. They love making peanut milk. The curiosity that they have when they're first holding that peanut, wondering how we're going to make milk, and going through step by step with them and just watching the transformation from taking the peanut and turning it into milk. Many people are just absolutely amazed.
A fun fact about the peanut is that it's actually a legume because it grows in a pod. The stars and stripes on the American flag make it one of the most recognizable objects in the United States. But do you know the proper ways to respect it? KOAM's Samantha Walker visited Olson's Ace Hardware store in Parsons, where kids and their families got the chance to learn firsthand.
We honor them all here. I just feel like that's what we need to do.
The American flag is seen by many as the symbol of freedom, as well as a way to respect those who have served our country. And for Gina Fote, who comes from a military family, it's important to her that veterans in her community are shown the proper respect.
You're free to be who you want to be because these people fought for that. You're free to think what you want because they fought for that. You can think whatever you want, but you need to appreciate the people who made that possible for you. And for me, that's important.
She organizes a monthly kids hour at Olson's Ace Hardware in Parsons. This month, she decided to help teach kids about the history of the U.S. flag and how to properly respect it. When word of her idea got around, others quickly offered to help, donating snacks, supplies, and even bringing old military vehicles to display.
We've had a whole lot of people in our community that I started with a tiny idea that I knew that I wanted to do, and it just grew, like messages from friends. Can we do this? Let's add this.
VFW Post 704 held a flag-raising ceremony and taught families how to raise a flag, when it should come down, and the proper way to fold it.
One of the important things about today is that people realize that there is an honor that goes with our American flag. There's a rich history, and many soldiers have spent their last breath for what our American flag represents.
For event organizers, they say it's a rewarding feeling to see kids so excited to learn more about the American flag.
I just want to make sure they know how to show respect, know how to respect others, and show respect to our veterans, to our American flag. That is important for me to make sure all kids know that.
Reporting in Parsons, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
During the event, Olson's Ace Hardware also held its Back to School drive. Many attendees donated school supplies for local kids as a thank you for the free event. Well, Lindsay is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later, parts of the country are facing deadly heat.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl, Texans are facing a new deadly threat. I'm Madison Scarpino. I'll explain coming up.
Well, it's been pretty cool the last few days, even last week. Luckily, that's not over just yet. We did have a few showers this morning, but we're starting to remain dry. Taking a look downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. It's still cloudy out there, but most of the rain's out of our area. We do still have a couple days with rain chances in the afternoon, but not a lot of rain, not a lot of accumulation. Just like we didn't see a lot of accumulation this weekend, some areas got about 3 inches, but most of us less than 1/4 of an inch of rain, if any. So most of the northern counties didn't receive much rain at all. Joplin, Miami, Monette, Grove, Bentonville, Jay all got about 1 inch to 2.5 inches of rain. Not a ton of accumulation, but it was still necessary, especially without a severe threat. Any type of rain is welcome. So we still do have those clouds in the area. Most of the rain showers that were in those southern counties have started to dissipate, and we're going to stay dry for the rest of the evening. We do have rain chances tomorrow afternoon, pretty light rain chances in the southern counties, but Other than that, we're mostly focused on the temperatures this week. It's going to be a pretty calm week. Temperatures do slowly start to warm up, but we were at 81 as a high on Saturday, 76 to about 78 for a high on Sunday. So this morning, earlier today, those temperatures are going to start to warm up a little bit more tomorrow. 83, 84 out in Joplin, 83 in Neosho, still 77 in Cassville, 78 in Bella Vista. And the further north you go, the warmer you get. So 87 in Fort Scott, 86 in Chanute, Iola, and Neodesha. Now, that changes. Tuesday, we start to warm up even more. So we're up to 88 in Lamar, Pittsburgh, 87 in Chanute, 89 in Neodesha, 91 in Independence, 90 in Sedan. And then still southern counties, a little bit cooler, 75 in Bella Vista, 79 in Jay. So we've still got a little bit of a trend of cooler temperatures. We're in the upper 70s to mid to upper 80s. That's our range for the next couple of days. Starting in the morning, it's going to still be relatively cool though. We're having those overnight lows down in the 60s. We do still have some rain chances though. A little bit of an unsettled weather pattern. Most of the heavier rainfall focused in those southern states, but we're getting a few showers over the next couple days. So we're going to take a little deep dive into that. Monday afternoon, like I said, a few isolated showers down near Bella Vista, Arkansas, southwestern Missouri. Those start to push into our area about 1:30 p.m. Very isolated. We're not seeing a ton of rainfall, maybe even just a drizzle, but it's going to be cloudy and a little dreary in some of those areas. Moving into Tuesday in the morning, Yates Center may get some rain showers, but those dissipate pretty quickly. And then we're seeing maybe a few more isolated showers in the evening on Tuesday as well. Outside of that, not much else going on this week. A couple isolated thunderstorms in the evening on Thursday and Friday. Temperatures warm back up into the low 90s for the rest of the forecasted period.
You know, despite today's rain, we got a little bit of rain early in the morning up where we live. It was beautiful. I loved the weather.
I would have loved it if the clouds cleared a little bit more.
Sure.
But it was nice.
Yeah. A little too cold for you? Was that it? Or no? Did the clouds not make it a little colder?
No, it just makes it a little gloomier.
Okay. Just sad mood kind of thing?
A little bit.
Okay. That's fair. All right. Thanks, Lindsay. In the week since Hurricane Beryl unleashed devastating rain and flooding on southeast Texas, a new threat emerged as Texans struggled in triple-digit temperatures with no power and no air conditioning. Fox News correspondent Madison Scarpino has more.
When Hurricane Beryl hit Texas earlier this month, there were a number of initial fatalities caused by floodwaters and falling trees. In the weeks that followed, a new kind of threat emerged as prolonged power outages left Texans unable to get relief from the brutal heat. As temperatures soared in their home, Janet Jarrett did everything she could to keep her sister Pamela cool.
My thermostat said 97, 98, so I would open the windows trying to get breeze to go through as much as I could.
But on their third morning without power, Janet awoke to find Pamela gasping for breath. She died just 4 days later.
She was 64 years old, and she just had a birthday not too long in April. The problem was not having electricity. You know, we didn't have any air.
At the height of the outages, nearly 3 million homes and businesses were without power. The lights have since been turned back on for most, but the slow pace of the recovery put thousands at risk and put the power company, CenterPoint Energy, under a microscope over whether it did enough to prepare.
If they had cut back some of these trees from the lines, it wouldn't cause as much damage. And they've been telling them for years to do these things, and they haven't done it.
Half of the deaths attributed to Beryl in Harris County have been heat-related, and the total number is still likely to climb even further. In New York, Madison Scarpino, Fox News.
Coming up, after this past weekend's global tech outage, airliners are finally starting to recover. Reports say that as of late Saturday night, flight tracker FlightAware noted that there were 33,000 total flight delays and more than 2,700 flight cancellations after the CrowdStrike failure in Microsoft systems caused the always feared blue screen of death. Airports continue to struggle with security and getting passengers checked in, while some airlines don't have planes correctly located. Two airlines hit hard, American and United, now say that their systems are now mostly working correctly. A report by software company Guardio says the USPS was one of the most copied brands when it came to phishing scams in the second quarter. Scam texts are being sent with strange link formats claiming the USPS needs your attention and a parcel can't be delivered because of issues like incomplete addresses. The fake links tried to get consumer information in order to commit fraud. The USPS says it uses text only if customers have requested a tracking number on an item, and they only use 5-digit short codes. Up next, as the Summer Olympics approach, Olympians with 2 legs and 4 legs make their way to Paris. Olympic horses get ready for their trip to Paris. These horses are part of the U.S. Olympic eventing team, a competition which includes dressage, cross country, and show jumping. Wednesday, the ponies were prepared for transport via cargo plane en route to Luxembourg from JFK Airport in New York. From there, the horses will be brought to Versailles, France, where the equestrian competitions will take place. To see these horses in action, catch Team USA's equestrians compete from July 27th through the 29th. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Coming up, COVID cases in the Ozarks are increasing. We'll tell you why. Southeast Kansas firefighters were alerted to a house fire in Northwest 10th Street this afternoon. As firefighters arrived, the 2-story home already had flames coming through the roof. They determined it would be a defensive attack. No reason to risk firefighters' safety sending them inside the residence. Shortly after laying hoses, firefighters witnessed the front portion of the house collapse. The home was on the ground, a total loss. Family were not home at the time of the fire and no injuries to firefighters. Some units remained on scene for more than 3 hours. COVID-19 numbers across the Ozarks have increased slightly, but doctors say not enough to cause concern. With President Biden recently testing positive for the virus, Hayden Savage spoke with area health agencies about what they're seeing.
We're in the middle of those summer months, and I'm told that's whenever COVID-19 cases love to surge. Here at the Howe County Health Department in West Plains, they're seeing those elevated numbers as well.
We have seen an uptick in the amount of genetic material in the sewer shed water.
In Howe County, Health Department administrators don't have weekly updates on COVID cases in their areas, as reporting is no longer required. But the department does rely on sewer surveillance, which shows Howe County is still in the low category for cases, but there is an elevated amount of genetic material, meaning that cases could go up. In North Arkansas,
we've seen a mild uptick on COVID cases.
Dr. Larry Jennings, a physician with the Boston Mountain Rural Health Center, says he's seen an increased amount of patients who have tested positive for the coronavirus, but none with severe sickness.
It's been mild. A few cases have been mild to moderate. I've not seen severe illness issues.
Their symptoms similar to the common cold or the flu.
It's the same type of symptoms. We're seeing fever, headache, head congestion, chest congestion, muscle aching.
A majority of cases, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, are still part of the Omicron variant. But John Hopkins said back in May that the new variant Flirt is the cause for around 4% of infections. In Howe County, it's believed a majority of cases are still the Omicron variant, but Dr. Jennings believes there's a chance the Flirt variant could be starting to make its way into northern Arkansas.
I think there's a chance it may be the Flirt variant because we're seeing people that have been vaccinated and come down with the illness.
No matter the variant, health leaders say it's never a bad idea to update your COVID booster if you haven't had one in a while.
We do know that there is a new vaccine coming out this fall, so if it's been a few months since you've been vaccinated, the new vaccine is for different variants. Folks should consider getting the vaccine.
Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi praised President Biden's decision to not seek re-election. In a Sunday statement, she called Biden a, quote, patriotic American who has always put our country first, saying he is one of the most consequential presidents in American history. Pelosi said America has been blessed by what she says is Biden's greatness and goodness. A high-stakes hearing for the director of the Secret Service tomorrow. Kimberly Cheadle will go before Congress for the first time to talk about how her agency failed to stop the attempt on former President Trump's life last weekend. Since then, Cheadle has been facing calls to resign from Republicans. Now a Democrat has joined the voices demanding she step down. Tina Kim previews tomorrow's big hearing.
Her career has been dedicated to protecting others. Now, Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle will have to defend herself as she goes before the House Oversight Committee Monday. And the grilling will come not only from Republicans. Congressman Brendan Boyle has become the first Democrat to call for her resignation after the Secret Service failed to stop the attempted assassination of former President Trump in Boyle's state of Pennsylvania last weekend.
Last week, I took a bullet for democracy.
On Saturday, Donald Trump talked about getting hit during his first on-the-trail rally since the shooting, which also killed a crowd member and wounded 2 others. Trump told Fox News that no one directed him to delay his speech, despite the fact that nearly an hour earlier, local police had spotted a suspicious person. The gunman would later take aim at Trump from a rooftop outside the venue. House Speaker Mike Johnson said this about Cheadle Sunday.
The initial excuses that she has given for the lapses that happened last Saturday are just unbelievable. And I think that'll be must-see TV. She's got a lot to answer for, and these concerns are bipartisan.
Johnson also said it was, quote, beyond the pale. The Secret Service changed its story about past security requests from Trump's team. The agency now acknowledges it previously turned down Trump requests for additional resources in recent years. But the Secret Service said none of the requests was tied to last weekend's rally. In fact, additional resources were given to that event. I'm Tina Kim reporting.
Still ahead, the joys of quilting, how one business is bringing together those who have a love for the hobby. Southeast Kansas firefighters were alerted to a house fire in Northwest 10th Street this afternoon. As firefighters arrived, the 2-story home already had flames coming through the roof. They determined it would be a defensive attack. No reason to risk firefighters' safety sending them inside the residence. Shortly after laying hoses, firefighters witnessed the front portion of the house collapse. The home was on the ground, a total loss. Family were not home at the time of the fire and no injuries to firefighters. Some units remained on scene for more than 3 hours. COVID-19 numbers across the Ozarks have increased slightly, but doctors say not enough to cause concern. With President Biden recently testing positive for the virus, Hayden Savage spoke with area health agencies about what they're seeing.
We're in the middle of those summer months, and I'm told that's whenever COVID-19 cases love to surge. Here at the Howe County Health Department in West Plains, they're seeing those elevated numbers as well.
We have seen an uptick in the amount of genetic material in the sewer shed water.
In Howe County, Health Department administrators don't have weekly updates on COVID cases in their areas, as reporting is no longer required. But the department does rely on sewer surveillance, which shows Howe County is still in the low category for cases, but there is an elevated amount of genetic material, meaning that cases could go up. In North Arkansas,
we've seen a mild uptick on COVID cases.
Dr. Larry Jennings, a physician with the Boston Mountain Rural Health Center, says he's seen an increased amount of patients who have tested positive for the coronavirus, but none with severe sickness.
It's been mild. A few cases have been mild to moderate. I've not seen severe illness issues.
Their symptoms similar to the common cold or the flu.
It's the same type of symptoms. We're seeing fever, headache, head congestion, chest congestion, muscle aching.
A majority of cases, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, are still part of the Omicron variant. But John Hopkins said back in May that the new variant Flirt is the cause for around 4% of infections. In Howe County, it's believed a majority of cases are still the Omicron variant, but Dr. Jennings believes there's a chance the Flirt variant could be starting to make its way into northern Arkansas.
I think there's a chance it may be the Flirt variant because we're seeing people that have been vaccinated and come down with the illness.
No matter the variant, health leaders say it's never a bad idea to update your COVID booster if you haven't had one in a while.
We do know that there is a new vaccine coming out this fall, so if it's been a few months since you've been vaccinated, the new vaccine is for different variants. Folks should consider getting the vaccine.
Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi praised President Biden's decision to not seek re-election. In a Sunday statement, she called Biden a, quote, patriotic American who has always put our country first, saying he is one of the most consequential presidents in American history. Pelosi said America has been blessed by what she says is Biden's greatness and goodness. A high-stakes hearing for the director of the Secret Service tomorrow. Kimberly Cheadle will go before Congress for the first time to talk about how her agency failed to stop the attempt on former President Trump's life last weekend. Since then, Cheadle has been facing calls to resign from Republicans. Now a Democrat has joined the voices demanding she step down. Tina Kim previews tomorrow's big hearing.
Her career has been dedicated to protecting others. Now, Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle will have to defend herself as she goes before the House Oversight Committee Monday. And the grilling will come not only from Republicans. Congressman Brendan Boyle has become the first Democrat to call for her resignation after the Secret Service failed to stop the attempted assassination of former President Trump in Boyle's state of Pennsylvania last weekend.
Last week, I took a bullet for democracy.
On Saturday, Donald Trump talked about getting hit during his first on-the-trail rally since the shooting, which also killed a crowd member and wounded 2 others. Trump told Fox News that no one directed him to delay his speech, despite the fact that nearly an hour earlier, local police had spotted a suspicious person. The gunman would later take aim at Trump from a rooftop outside the venue. House Speaker Mike Johnson said this about Cheadle Sunday.
The initial excuses that she has given for the lapses that happened last Saturday are just unbelievable. And I think that'll be must-see TV. She's got a lot to answer for, and these concerns are bipartisan.
Johnson also said it was, quote, beyond the pale. The Secret Service changed its story about past security requests from Trump's team. The agency now acknowledges it previously turned down Trump requests for additional resources in recent years. But the Secret Service said none of the requests was tied to last weekend's rally. In fact, additional resources were given to that event. I'm Tina Kim reporting.
Still ahead, the joys of quilting, how one business is bringing together those who have a love for the hobby.
Find amazing deals store-wide during the anniversary sale at Furniture Row. And right now, the more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend. Or get 60 months, no interest financing. The anniversary sale, on now at Furniture Row.
Choice Hotels is a family of brands that helps you get the most for your money so you can be any traveler you want to be. You could be a free hot breakfast hero at a comfort hotel. Yes! That's how you waffle! A romantic weekend escaper at a Cambria hotel. Or Mr. Get the Party Started. Hey! Be a pool lounger. Or a big room relaxer. With 22 brands and the best value for your money, Choice Hotels has a stay for any you. Stay twice and get a $50 gift card when you book direct at choicehotels.com. Gotta get the corners.
KOAM News Now has an opening for a full-time videographer. This is your chance to join the market's #1 news team. The top candidate will be willing to learn, have a positive outlook, and a passion for storytelling. Videography, editing, and computer equipment experience is preferred but not required. Applicants should have a good driving record and valid driver's license. Apply online at koamnewsnow.com/jobs. Include demo reel if available. KOAM News Now is an equal opportunity employer.
I'm Derek Schmidt. I've always stood tall for our conservative values. As your Attorney General, I banned sanctuary cities, sued Joe Biden to end his open border nightmare, and fought to stop Biden's IRS from spying on your bank account. I defended the America First agenda, took 8 cases to the U.S. Supreme Court, and won them all. I'm Derek Schmidt, and I approve this message because Kansans deserve a fighter in Congress who will always stand tall for our conservative values.
Hey 4 States, Chris here with Windows and More, where we're still the area's #1 option and your one-stop shop for windows, doors, premium vinyl siding, and more. So if you have a home in need, give us a call today for your free in-home estimate.
The anniversary sale at Denver Mattress is on now. And right now, the more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every 1,000 you spend. Save up to $300 on our Doctor's Choice lineup or get 60 months no interest and free shipping. The anniversary sale only at Denver Mattress.
Well, it's been cooler the last few days, even last week. Luckily, that doesn't change, but we did have some rain showers earlier today. Taking a look downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. It's a little cloudy out there, but not breezy and not warm either. We're having a nice, cool evening still. Rain amounts from the rain this weekend. Most of the northern counties didn't see much, if anything, about 1/4 of an inch, maybe less. Now, Miami, Joplin, Monette, Grove, Jay, Bentonville all got up to about 2.5 to possibly 3 inches of rain in some isolated spots. Outside of that, we've got a few clouds still rolling through. We're going to remain mostly dry for the rest of the evening. We did have cooler temperatures yesterday, up to about 81 degrees, and today we only got up to about 77, 78 degrees. That was due to the rain showers we had earlier this morning, and the overcast conditions typically blocks out a lot of the heat that we see during the day. Tomorrow, warming up slightly, so about 84 out in Joplin, 85 in Pittsburgh, 87 in Independence and Parsons, 88 in Sedan, so a little bit warmer out in the north and the western counties, and cooler out in the southern eastern counties, 77 in Cassville, 78 in Bella Vista. Then we move on to Tuesday, still a little bit cooler out in the southeast, but 79 in Bella Vista. We start getting into those upper 80s and even reaching 90-degree weather in some areas. 91 in Independence, 90 in Sedan, 86 in Joplin, 88 in Pittsburgh, so upper 80s. We have an unsettled weather pattern. Upper level flow shows we're still in that trough, so a little low pressure system far north, but most of the heavier rain is in Texas and Arkansas, Tennessee, southern states. But we do still see a few isolated showers over the next couple of days. So we're going to take a closer look and see what we can expect. A few showers still pushing in early Monday down in Bella Vista. Those aren't going to be moving out of here until later in the day. So we got about 1:30 p.m. A few isolated showers that are starting to creep into southwestern Missouri, even close to Joplin, but not quite, and not a lot of rainfall. So it's going to be a drizzle. You got those clouds. But overall, most of us are going to be sunny and dry. Then we move into Tuesday. We've got another round of rain showers out in the northwestern counties near Yates Center. Going to get some rain by about noon on Tuesday. Then we start to see another round of isolated showers pushing in Tuesday afternoon and then clearing by later in the evening. Outside of that, we're going to stay mostly dry for the next several days. So we do have those scattered shower chances, but very isolated. If anything, you might not even see any rain. It might be mostly sunny out there. Then sunny on Wednesday. Temperatures do start to warm back up to the 90s, low 90s for the rest of the forecasting period. A few isolated summer thunderstorms Thursday and Friday as well.
I enjoyed the temps today, though.
It's been nice. Tomorrow, I think, is going to be beautiful. Partly cloudy. Temperatures up to about 83, 84. Oh, I'm loving it.
Loving it. All right, thanks, Lindsay. Coming up in sports, the Kansas City Chiefs open up training camp as we hear from head coach Andy Reid and the players. Plus, the Kansas City Royals go for the weekend sweep. Brock Baldridge has the highlights from Sunday's game and more.
The Joplin Outlaws still have 3 weeks of baseball remaining in the schedule, and well, the Outlaws are still battling for a playoff spot as they look to get their record back to 500. Joplin opened up the series with Texarkana playing in a doubleheader. They now close the series playing in a doubleheader, so Here's the result from game one. Joplin handles business as they win it 6-0. Andre Jackson hit a 2-run homer in the first inning of that one. So here we go from game two of the doubleheader. The Outlaws go for the second doubleheader sweep of the homestand. We start things in the second inning. This ball is hit hard, but Andres Garcia is there to keep it in front of him. Throws at the runner at first. Outlaws keep the game scoreless. So we go to the third inning. Drake Lee up at the plate. It's a high chopper over to third. Third baseman throws it away, and that allows the first run of the game to score. Lee makes it all the way up to second base, and the Outlaws jump out to a 1-0 lead. So on to the fourth inning. Same score as Reed Woodland hits a shallow fly ball to right field. It lands on the chalk and stays fair. Joplin scores a run, but the Rhinos disagree with the call, and their manager is tossed out of the game. Joplin takes a 2-0 lead. So we go to the fifth inning now. Game is still tied 2-2. Drake Lee hits a high fly ball to left field, and that gives Rayvon Morgan plenty of time to tag up and score to give Joplin the lead. The Outlaws go on to win this game 4-3 thanks to a bases loaded walk by Cale Good in the seventh inning. On to the Mink League now. The Nevada Griffins are playing in their final games of the season. Nevada plays the defending league champs Jeff City in a split doubleheader. It was a strong way to end the season. Griffins win the first game 7-4. Then Nevada finishes the season finale with a 9-8 win in 8 innings. Nevada caps off the season with a 10-27 overall record. Well, the Kansas City Royals are chasing for a playoff spot, and the Royals enter Sunday 6 games behind first place Cleveland in the AL Central standings. Royals versus the Chicago White Sox on the Sunday afternoon at Kauffman Stadium. Seth Lugo takes the mound and was almost unhittable. Lugo gets a pair of strikeouts to end the second and third innings. We go to the sixth inning now. Still scoreless game, but Tommy Pham slices one into center field for an RBI single. The White Sox scored the game's first run to make it 1-0 Chicago. So to the eighth inning now. Game is tied up 1-1. Hunter Renfroe hits this ball to the opposite field, and that single gives the Royals the lead. Kansas City goes up 2-1 in the ninth inning. So here comes Seth Lugo now. Swinging and a miss right here, closes out the game. He goes the distance. He earns the complete game for the first time in his career. Royals sweep the Sox at home. Kansas City wins it 4-1. Down in Atlanta, Cardinals versus Braves. First inning here, no score. Paul Goldschmidt tomahawks one to left field, and he gets out of here for a solo home run. St. Louis takes a 1-0 lead early in the game. Go to the third inning now. Alec Burleson, take a good look. You won't see it for long. That ball nearly lands in someone's hotel room. Another solo home run makes a 2-0 Cardinals lead. Go to the bottom of the third. Atlanta's Jared Kelenic takes a trip to the Braves chop house and gets Atlanta on the board with that one. It's now a 2-1 ball game, but St. Louis, their offense isn't done yet. Fourth inning now. Lars Nootbaar sends this one to straightaway center field. It lands in the water, and this ball is just jumping off everyone's bat on Sunday. St. Louis leads 3-1. And, well, if that wasn't enough for you, there's more where that came from. Wilson Contreras now at the plate, goes the opposite way, and that leaves the park for yet another solo home run. Cardinals take the series from the Braves. St. Louis wins it 6-2. Well, Sunday is day one for Chiefs training camp in St. Joseph, Missouri. The two-time defending Super Bowl champs officially start their quest for the NFL's first three-peat.
Some new stuff for the rookies, and they were able to handle what they had learned last week and coming in earlier in the week and then today. So I'm happy for that. Both sides of the ball, I thought, competed well. Special teams looked good. Ariza looked like he was booming it out there a little bit, and so good day for that.
But obviously, like here, it's one of the hardest training camp in the league, so it's kind of hard to compare here. Here we run a lot, we do a lot. It's hard. You're in dorm rooms. You know what I'm saying. So it's a different environment, a different feel. Everybody have their own knack. Every team have their own knack how they want to do certain things, and they take a different approach to training camp. But here, y'all been here for however long as I've been here. So you see how hard we work and how everything goes.
As you look for sports, we're back with more news after this.
Health and wellness retreats are pretty well known, but have you heard of a quilting retreat? Complete strangers are coming together for one common interest, quilting. For some, it's more than just a hobby. It's about the emotional connection. Karen Larson talks to the owner about her successful business and the women behind the quilts.
In every corner of the room, you can hear it. The sounds of creative quilters at work.
You can go by either set of numbers, but you have to remember in your head which set you're using.
These 8 women signed up for a quilting retreat. They brought their own projects for 5 days of togetherness at the Osage Hills Retreat Center in Skiatook with strangers.
I brought projects that needed to be finished.
Wreaths for her granddaughter's wedding and Christmas card quilts.
Yeah, everything's hand sewn. So every bead, everything.
It is the craft that connects them. They share skills, a kitchen, and even bedrooms, all blanketed in bright, beautiful quilts.
And we have a lot of quilts on display, for people to.
Nice.
So I've made all these quilts. So
You made all these quilts.
I did.
Okay, so this is the source of the retreating.
Yes. This is my heart. I was a scrapbooker when my kids were young, and I've kind of gotten away from that, and I have quilted for about 10 years.
Melissa Strutman told me she and her husband crafted a business from her hobby.
My husband found this house, and I thought it was a crazy house because it's so big, but when he explained that it would make a wonderful retreat center where we could live in half and our retreaters could live in the other half, it made perfect sense.
They opened the retreat center 2 years ago, offering a place for crafters to come together as individuals or groups.
The group came from Nebraska last year. We've had Iowa, lots of Rogers, Arkansas, Texas, a lot of Kansas. There's a lot of quilters in this part of the country, as you'd expect.
Their business is booming, thanks to those who love to create here.
I have 59 retreats scheduled for this year, and I have over 30 scheduled for next year.
Now, you may wonder, why this hobby?
My husband thinks I'm a nuts. He said, why in heaven's name would a woman want to take perfectly good fabric, cut it up, and then just sew it back together again?
Carolyn Nixon told me quilting is really her connection with her late mother.
By the time I was 5 years old, I was helping her hand tie quilts.
And a connection with generations.
We come, we live, we go, we die, and we want to leave something behind. And for me, quilting does that.
Her quilts go to children, grandchildren, and friends. Every stitch, every design, made with care.
And it's kind of like when I'm gone, they can still be wrapped in my love if they have a quilt from me. That's why. That's what it's about for me.
So they choose fabrics, stitch, and press, knowing they will leave this retreat with gifts to share.
This is the final product?
It will be. And then on the back, I'm going to do something on the computer and make a little note, a little saying or something, and for Christmas, wishing them a Merry Christmas.
So beautiful.
Thank you.
And when their 5 days are done, they will leave with something else that lasts.
It doesn't take long before quilters are best friends. I didn't know any of these ladies whenever I came, but now I feel like they're good friends. So, and we just got here Saturday.
And that was what was really exciting, because you connected with everyone, even though we were from, I think, 4 different states and in 4 different areas of quilting.
I love it. I've already booked one for August.
Up next, did you know it was National Ice Cream Day? We'll show you how people in Neosho celebrate it. Today may be the perfect day to treat yourself to a sundae, and I'm talking about the ice cream. After all, it is National Ice Cream Day. Former President Ronald Reagan declared the 3rd Sunday of July as National Ice Cream Day and July itself as National Ice Cream Month. Research shows about 97% of Americans either love or like ice cream. And in case you're wondering what Americans' favorite toppings are, hot fudge is preferred by 1 out of 3 people. Whipped cream is a close second, followed by caramel sauce and chocolate sauce. Well, everyone was lining outside of A-Rays today in Neosho. The dessert shop was giving out free ice cream today from 2 to 4 in celebration of National Ice Cream Day. The event was also sponsored by Oak Point of Neosho.
It just makes us, it feels honestly surreal. From the moment we've opened, a year and a half in now, it's like the community has supported us amazingly, and it just, sometimes you almost get emotional about it, just seeing your dream come to life and seeing everybody else really enjoy and love your dream of, what I've wanted to do for years. So,
National Ice Cream Day started, of course, by President Ronald Reagan in 1984. Gosh, I love ice cream.
I really, you mentioned your favorite topping, hot fudge, and I'm like, ooh, I could so go for just a bowl of vanilla ice cream, a little hot fudge on top, mix it up. That's my favorite.
And then it just turns into chocolate ice cream.
Yeah, but you put in the work to get the chocolate ice cream, so it just makes it so much more worth it,
Yeah.
I think.
And it's like it's a cheat day, but like you said, you have to work for the chocolate ice cream.
So it makes it not so much like a cheat day.
Exactly. That's perfect
That's my logic.
Exactly.
Girl logic over here.
That's perfect. Well, that's our time for tonight. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy your ice cream Sunday. And from all of us here at KOAM, have a great night.